left them by the door. Every echo of a promise I don't need anymore. Maps were drawn by other people, told me where to land, but I learned the sky gets wider when you trust your hands. I used to wait for green lights from someone else's eyes. Turns out wings don't ask permission, they just try. I'm flying solo, no shadow on my tail, no borrowed gravity to make me fail. If I fall forward. If I rise, it's my control. No co-pilot, no safety net, just heart and air and hope. I'm flying solo. Used to measure every heartbeat by who stayed or left. Now the silence feels like breathing, not a test. I don't chase the sound of footsteps running through my head. I build runways out of moments most folks never see. Instead, there's a calm inside the chaos when you finally know you can be the storm and shelter on your own. I'm flying solo, no chains around my name, no shared excuses, no shared blame. If I break, I rebuild. If I soar, I take the toll. No autopilot lies tonight, just truth inside my soul. I'm flying solo. I'll fly in formation, match your rhythm, share the view. But I won't trade my elevation for the fear of losing you. If you meet me in the open where the wild blue never ends, I'll fly beside you, not beneath you, not ahead, not just a bend. This isn't loneliness, it's choosing my direction. This isn't running, it's self-correction. I'm flying solo, scars beneath my skin. Every mile says I earn the wind. If I land, it's my decision. If I go full throttle, bold. No cages painted like a dream, no half-lived role. I'm flying solo, just me and the horizon. No one left to save or blame. I didn't lose a wing, I found my name.
Welcome back to the Visiting Ward, everyone. Where the doors don't lock behind you, but something always stays. Tonight's question is simple, dangerous, unavoidable. Who are you? Who are you when no one's watching? Not your string persona, not your highlight reel, not the version of you that knows where the camera is. No, I mean the version of you at 3:17 a.m. when the room is quiet and your thoughts stop asking for permission. We all wear a mask, whether it's a streamer mask, a friend mask, an I'm fine mask. Some of them are armor, some of them are cages. But here's the twist. Wear a mask long enough and it stops feeling like a mask. It becomes routine, then identity, then prison. You start performing even when no one asks for a show. And the scariest part, you forget what your real face even looks like. There's a silent version of you. There's a version that, let's strip it down to the bare knuckles and grits. Let's strip it down to no chat, no notifications, no expectations, just you. What shows up? Is it peace or is it noise? Because a lot of people don't fear being alone. They fear what shows up when everything else leaves. That inner voice. It's either your greatest ally or the harshest critic you've ever met. But there's a truth that we all avoid. Here's something sharp. The version of you when no one's watching is the real one. Not the polished one, not the curated one, the raw one. That's where your habits live. That's where your discipline either stands or collapses. That's where your honesty breathes or suffocates. And listen, I'm not saying that version has to be perfect, but it should be true. Because if you can't sit with yourself in silence, you'll spend your life running toward noise. But there is a way to reclaim yourself. So what do we do with that? We don't destroy the mask. We don't empower it either. We choose to wear them. We choose when to wear them, even. There's power in stepping into roles. But there's freedom in stepping out of them. You start small. Sit in silence for 10 minutes. No distractions. Ask yourself one honest question. What am I avoiding? Don't answer quickly. Let it echo. You're trying not to fix everything overnight. You're just trying to meet yourself without an audience. At the end of the day, though, the world sees what you show it. So, but when you live with what you hide, so tonight, when everything quiets down, don't reach for the noise right away. Sit in it. Listen. Because somewhere in the silence is the real you. And that version, that's the one worth building. So, what we just talked about, that was only part 1. Part 2, this is what happens when the mirror starts talking back. Inside of you, there are two voices. One builds, one breaks. One says, keep going. The other whispers, what's the point? And here's the thing. Most people don't realize. Both voices are yours. That critic, it didn't appear out of nowhere. It was built layer by layer. From failure, rejection, comparison, expectations. It learns your weak spots like a map. And it uses them with precision. Let's name it, not to give it power, but to take yours back. That voice that tells you you're not good enough, you're behind, you'll fail anyway. That's your inner saboteur. And it doesn't scream. It sounds very reasonable. That's why it's dangerous. It disguises fear as logic, doubt as realism. And before you know it, you're not chasing goals anymore. You're negotiating with your limitations. Why do we listen to it, though? Because it's familiar. And humans, we're creatures of familiarity. Even if it hurts, even if it keeps us stuck, pain we understand feels safer than growth we don't. So we stay in patterns, stay in comfort, stay in cycles that slowly drain us, because at least we know how they end. You can break the cycle, though. Here's where things begin to shift for you. You don't silence that voice by fighting it. You outgrow it. You build a louder one, a stronger one, a voice that says, I'm not there yet, but I'm moving. This is hard, but I don't quit here. I've survived worse than this moment. That's not fake positivity. That's intentional identity. You're choosing who gets the mic. So let's dig a little deeper. Let's dig to the discipline of being alone. Being alone isn't the challenge. Being honest when you're alone is. Because no one's there to hold you accountable. No one's there to clap or judge. It's just you and your choices. That's where discipline is forged. Not in front of people, not for applause, but in quiet decisions. Do you show up? Do you follow through? Do you keep promises to yourself? Because every broken promise teaches your mind not to trust you. And every kept one builds something unshakable. You can become someone you respect. Forget becoming someone others admire for a second. Become someone that you respect. The version of you that doesn't need validation, doesn't collapse under pressure, and doesn't disappear when things get hard. That version is built in silence, in repetition, in consistency, in those moments when no one's watching, but you choose to show up anyway. The war inside you, it doesn't end, but it changes. You get stronger, smarter, more aware, and eventually, that voice that used to tear you down, it gets quieter. Not because it's gone, but because you stop giving it control. So, we all wear a mask. We all wear a mask of some sort. We don't choose what mask we wear. Well, we do. But eventually that mask, it becomes a permanent fixture. It doesn't go away. You become that mask. You become what that mask is. And a lot of times, you face a mirror, you hear voices, and then there's a cost. It's not free, and it takes sacrifice. But growth isn't an upgrade. It's a transformation, guys. And a transformation is violent in a quiet way. You don't just gain discipline. You lose excuses. You don't gain clarity. You lose illusions. You don't gain strength. You lose that version of yourself that stayed comfortable. And that version, it will fight to survive. But here's the real thing. And here's the truth that a lot of people don't want to hear. Not everyone can come with you. Some people only fit the old version of you. The version that played small. Said yes too often. Stayed predictable. When you change, you disrupt the script. And suddenly, you're different. Maybe distant. Maybe too much. But really, you're just no longer available for the same patterns. Growth creates distance. Not because you want it to, but because you need it to. Let's say it plainly. Parts of you have to die. Not physically, but mentally, emotionally, and habitually. The procrastinator, the self-doubter, the version that quit when things got uncomfortable. They don't evolve. They expire. And yeah, that can feel like grief. Because even the broken versions of us, we're still us. Motivation is loud, discipline is quiet. Motivation shows up when it feels good. Discipline shows up when it doesn't. Motivation is a spark. Discipline, you ask? That's the engine. And engines don't ask how you feel. They run because they're built to. So when you don't feel like it, when everything in you says not today, That's the exact moment the discipline kicks in. At some point, though, you are going to stop trying to change your actions, and you are going to change your identity. You don't say, I'm trying to be consistent. You say, I am consistent. You don't say, I'm working on being better. You say, I don't quit. That shift, it rewires everything. Because actions follow identity, not the other way around. But there's a price. The question is it worth it? So let's bring it home. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's uncomfortable. And yes, it costs you people, habits, comfort, and certainty. But what do you gain from it? What you gain is something most people never touch. Self-respect. Not the kind that comes from applause. Not the kind that comes from being judged. But it's the kind that comes from knowing. You didn't fold. You didn't run. You didn't abandon yourself. So in closing, here's the real questions. Or the real question. Not who are you when no one's watching, but who are you becoming because no one is? Because in that silence, in that unseen effort, in that lonely, disciplined grind, you're building someone real. Not perfect, not finished, but forged. This has been the Visiting War. And if you're still here, still listening, still choosing to grow, then you already know the cost is real, but so are you. And before you step out of the word tonight, remember to tell someone you love them, even if that someone is the version of you that refused to stay the same. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.